What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's filthiest pitches of the day. I am Pitching Ninja. I'm here with that stud, Will Leahey. What is happening, stud?
Bitch, I'm just hanging, man. And I'm hanging and having a good time because we're at the most fun part of the regular baseball season. It's when all the teams get jumbled up near the end, trying to fight their way into a playoff spot, Ninja. And actually, both the AL and NL have some teams just battling to the bitter end. And yesterday, the Mariners fighting for their lives. They're 1.5 games out of the wild card spot, but they have an easy schedule coming up, Ninja. They got 3 of their 5 games against the A's, but they needed to get a win yesterday, and our boy Bryce Miller did big things, Ninja, to help get him there. What'd you see out of Bryce, and how'd he pitch?
Bryce Miller was outstanding yesterday, and you're right. The Mariners kept their hopes alive largely because of Bryce Miller. They now have a 12% chance to make the playoffs. They're 1.5 games out, and I am rooting for the Mariners to make the playoffs because you know how much I love their pitching staff.
It's your favorite pitching staff this year, I think.
It is my favorite pitching staff. Yeah, I mean, it is. Like, their starting pitching is crazy, and their relievers would have been even more crazy had Matt Brash not gotten hurt for the year. But the Mariners beat the Astros 6-1. Bryce Miller was dominant. He had 5 Ks in 7 scoreless innings, giving up only 2 hits, and lowered his ERA on the season to 2.94. Wow. Will, who has the lowest ERA on the Mariners pitching staff?
My guess would be Brian Wu.
You would be wrong. It would be Bryce Miller. I mean, that was a little leading. Like, we're talking about Bryce Miller. You'd think that maybe that would just like shine the light on.
I fudged up, Ninja.
But Miller was great. He had this 97-mile-an-hour heater, this wicked sweeter, these dirty knuckle curves, and came up huge with these splitters in a crucial situation. I love this as he pounds his heart. And Bryce is not a guy who pitches with a ton of emotion typically. He's very chill. Here's an overlay of his fastball and sweeper. And as a bonus, here's Brian Wu discussing Bryce Miller from this week's Baseball Dojo. Be sure to check out the full interview, but here's a snippet of it, and this is great.
Bryce has got a new pitch. I mean, it seems like every other start almost. Came back this offseason. The splitter was kind of the big thing. But throughout the season, I feel like he's changed. He picked up a curveball already from like a teammate this year. Started throwing a cutter in the middle of the year. The 2-seam has come along really well, and he's used that a whole lot. And then, yeah, obviously his fastball is, one of the best on the planet. He's always trying to get better, whether that's, creating a new pitch or doing with the hezzy moving, messing with guys' timing, and
I love that.
It's always something. He comes off, kind of like an idiot, but he's really smart. I'll put Bryson Logan into one. It's great. They are 2 of like the biggest goofballs when they're together. We went golfing a couple of off days ago, and it was like playing with them, and it took forever. Absolute sloths. Yeah, it was cart path only too, and so they're going to the other side of the fairway looking for their ball. They just don't play a whole lot. They hit the ball an absolute mile. Bryce has got clubs from like the 1940s, but it goes 320 yards. Logan hit one of the furthest drives I think I've ever seen, but like they just don't, they don't play a whole lot.
Miller outdueled Hunter Brown, who was also really good yesterday with 8 strikeouts and 6 innings, giving up 1 run on 3 hits. He had these fastballs and painted with it, his 2-seamer, his cutters, knuckle curves, and K-hop. Here's an overlay of his fastball knuckle curve. You can see how those pitches work well together. And Hunter Brown's ERA is down to 3.49. You might remember, as of April, his ERA was 11.84. So that tells you how well Hunter Brown has been pitching since April. In April, he did have one of the worst outings of all time, but righted the ship, and he's been brilliant. He's going to be a force in the postseason. The Phillies won 6-2 and clinched the NL East. Aaron Nola was really good with 7 Ks and 6 innings, giving up 2 runs. He had these elevated 2-seamers, and this one might have been a little too high. Also had this paintish front door 2-seamer, and honestly, this says it's off the plate, but since it's measured at the front of the plate, this might have actually gotten there. I don't know that this is a missed call. He had this front door 2-seamer that actually ended up in the middle of the plate, and this painted backdoor 2-seamer. And he had these knuckle curves, including this Expelliarmus knuckle curve. Here's an overlay of his fastball, fouled off, and a knuckle curve, and you can see how brilliantly he tunnels these pitches.
I think it was the first time the Phillies have won the NL East since 2011. That was a big surprise to me. I mean, it just kind of shows the Braves' dominance, but I didn't see that coming.
About that Brave series, it's a huge series against the Mets, and it is about to pour here in Atlanta thanks to that hurricane that's coming through. So we may get only one game in of this thing. I don't know how they're going to do this. The Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 5-1. The incredible Houck, Tanner Houck, had no Ks in 5 scoreless innings. I don't know what to do here about highlights, but I'm going to make an exception because he was so good. Here's his one swing and miss all game. He had a swing and miss on this sweeper. Like, he didn't give me anything to run with. Tanner, Bubby, help me out here, buddy. You pitched outstanding, and I don't have a lot of highlights for you.
Ninja, he did, however, keep us in playoff contention. We're only 3.5 games out. Yeah, there's only 6 left, and there's 3 teams ahead of us. But
stranger things have happened. Well, what are the odds?
It says here slim to none.
Houck faced Chris Bassett, who had 2 Ks in 4 1/3 innings, giving up 2 earned runs, but walked 7 hitters. That would not make Chris Bassett happy. He did get Ks on these elevated fastballs. The Giants stomped the D-backs 6-3. Mr. Tambourine Man, Hayden Birdsong, had 6 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 2 runs on 4 hits. It is elevated fastball, slider for a sword, and these wicked changeups, including this nasty front door changeup. He faced Eduardo Rodriguez, who had 8 Ks in 4 2/3 innings, giving up 5 runs, and these fastballs, cutters, including his backdoor cutter, and these changeups.
Shout out Matt Chapman. He had a home run and a triple, a home run the hard way inside the park. And the projected distances of both these were 415 and 411 feet. Neither of them left the park. Just a weird little anomaly, Ninja. Back to you.
Thank you for dropping those nuggets of wisdom, Will. That's why I called you a stud earlier.
Yep, that's exactly right, Ninja.
And with this loss, the D-backs fell into maybe a chance of the Braves catching them again. I'm not rooting against the D-backs. I'm rooting for the Braves. Now onto my filthiest relievers. Carlos Estevez had this nasty changeup. Luis Guerrero had this 98-mile-an-hour heater. And Jeff Hoffman had this 97-mile-an-hour heater. My top 5 filthiest pitches of the day yesterday. At number 5, Hayden Birdsong's changeup. At number 4, Tanner Houck and his one swing and miss all game on this sweeper. Number 3, Hunter Brown for these knuckle curves. Number 2, Aaron Nola and his Expelliarmus knuckle curve. And also that knuckle curve and fastball overlay, because that was filthy. And at number 1, Bryce Miller and his splitters. And now my pitching ninja moment of Zen. This is Ichiro at like 51 years old with an absolute freaking cannon from the outfield. I'll tell you, if I tried to do this, I think my arm would go further than the ball. My picks of the day today, I'm going to start out with a same game parlay of Luis Severino for 5 Ks or more and Spencer Schwellenbach for 6 Ks or more. Then take Framber Valdez for 6 Ks or more and top it off with Tarek Skubal for 7 Ks or more. Then I'm going to add in my same game parlay profit boost of 25% for any same game parlay or same game parlay plus of 3 legs or more. What would your picks of the day be?